Hello, friends. Welcome to the Second Phase podcast. I'm Robin Graham, your host, and a brand marketing strategist and photographer passionate about helping women connect and grow their audience and get more clients. I am so excited you are here with me today to chat all about branding, personal development, and life overall in this second phase. What is the second phase? The second phase for me was a change in careers and learning how to navigate a new world and build a business from the ground up, when I was actually terrified to put myself out into the world as something new. For some, the second phase is a significant lifestyle change, a traumatic loss, a move, an illness. It could be any number of things. No matter the definition of your second phase, we are here together to learn about creating a brand that stands out and makes an impact, and grow as our authentic selves and follow our callings, our passions, our visions, and our values. Now grab your cup of coffee or the dog's leash and let's dive into a new episode. Are you struggling with brand clarity, confidence, and creating content that connects? Want to brand yourself or your business but don't know where to begin? Or are you frustrated because you're doing all the things you see everyone else doing but you aren't getting more clients? You're telling everyone what you do but no one hears you? It's like you're speaking a foreign language because your message isn't resonating. I hear you. The overwhelm is real. I feel your pain and frustration. I've been there. It wasn't overnight that I grew my business and figured out how to create a cohesive and consistent brand message that builds genuine connections and gets more clients. In fact, I did everything the hard way, and I want to make it easier for you. Because I've been in your shoes and I don't want you to struggle anymore, I am offering brand strategy, clarity, confidence, and connection coaching sessions to help you master your brand messaging and be seen and heard as the expert you are. In a 1-hour strategy session, we'll dive deep into your values, visions, and passions to create absolute clarity around your brand messaging and business. You'll not only have absolute clarity for your brand messaging, but you'll feel confident. When you are confident, you will trust yourself more and be able to create content that genuinely connects and helps your ideal audience get to know, like, and trust you. After working with Tracy for only 1 hour, she said, Robin's branding expertise was not only insightful, but empowering. She gave me a clear vision of my personal brand and how I can market myself as an authority in higher education. The blueprint she gave me for creating a personal brand is very detailed, but most importantly, gives me confidence that I can and will continue to transform business initiatives within higher education programs and help and inspire others to do the same. Don't you want to achieve that sense of clarity and confidence to feel empowered to inspire your audience? I believe you can and will when we work together. Now, if you're envisioning yourself feeling anxious and frantically taking notes during this session, don't worry. You don't have to write anything down. The only thing you need to do is focus on the strategy session and learning, and I'll take care of everything else. You'll receive a comprehensive blueprint from me outlining everything we've talked about with action items that will take your brand messaging to the next level and attract more clients. Do you want absolute clarity on your brand messaging and to know how to connect with your ideal audience to attract more clients? Then this strategy session is for you. Don't waste any more time spinning your wheels. Go to therobingraham.com/shop to schedule your session today. Hurry, because I have limited spots per month so that I can give you the attention you deserve. I can't wait to work with you and watch your brand messaging and business transform. Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a fabulous Thanksgiving holiday. For those of you who are in the US, I hope you enjoyed the gratitude episode. If you didn't, you can go and listen to that today as well. Very short and sweet, but just an episode on gratitude and how we can apply gratitude to our daily lives to keep us on track, on focus, and really take a deep dive into those little blessings that we have, that we don't always have to focus on the negative or the stress, that we can infuse that gratitude to help us overcome those situations and focus on the positive and move us forward. So that was that episode. Today, I'm going to talk about a question that I received when I was doing a presentation on personal branding and discovering clarity, confidence, and connection for your brand at the She Means Biz conference, which was a couple of weeks ago. It's usually in Philadelphia and it's usually a live event, but this year, because of COVID, it was a virtual event. So at the end of the presentation, which I think you can probably go to the She Means Biz Facebook page and see the interview online. I don't have the digital file yet, but it will eventually be on my YouTube channel. So I can share that in the show notes if I have it in time. But anyway, one of the questions that I received after the presentation was, how do you pivot your brand? And my response is that you first have to be clear on why you are pivoting. If you are pivoting because your current brand isn't attracting clients, have you looked at every aspect of your brand to ensure that your efforts have been everything needed to attract the right audience? Have you had clarity and confidence in your brand? And then did you communicate with clarity and allow your audience to have that same clarity as to what you do, the problem you solve for them? Do the people that you're trying to connect with understand that? Did you take time to differentiate yourself in your niche? Have you identified your ideal audience? Has your messaging been clear and consistent? Have you shown up consistently so that people actually recognize you? And have you become memorable and built the know, like, and trust factor? If not, how do you see pivoting as a solution? Pivoting will not solve the problem or make life easier. You will still have to put forth effort to communicate and connect with your audience to attract clients, even if you pivot into a new brand. On the flip side of that, if you are pivoting because you no longer feel aligned with your current brand, then you need to decide how much of your current brand you are going to carry over with you. When deciding on which components of your brand you are going to keep, you'll have to consider the differences between a brand, branding, and brand identity. Let's talk about the brand first. A personal brand is the perception others have of you. I know you've heard me say this before if you've been listening to the podcast for a while. It is how and what people think, feel, and say about you. Your personal brand is how you've differentiated yourself from others in your niche. What your brand is not is a logo. And it is not what you say it is what they say it is. And they, meaning your ideal audience or others who happen to come across your messaging or see you online or land on your website. Branding is telling the story of your brand. It is communicating to the world what you are about and the problem you solve, so that you can build a reputation and awareness around your brand. Sharing your brand story is going to help you become recognizable, memorable, and shareable while building the know, like, and trust factor. Your brand identity involves the visual aspects of your brand. Think about the color palette, typography, the fonts you use in all of your messaging, your website, your email, marketing campaigns, all of those things, your logo, as well as photography, the things that visually make your brand recognizable and memorable. So when you consider pivoting, you must evaluate how your brand is going to change, how you will tell the story of your new brand through your branding efforts, and whether or not your brand identity components will remain the same or change completely. If you've decided that pivoting is indeed the right action to take because you weren't being fulfilled by the work you were doing, you'll need to take steps to ensure your new brand has a foundation for success. What steps can you take immediately to build that foundation? Number one, first and foremost, is you have to have clarity. Define your niche. If you need help with defining your niche, you can go back and listen to episode 69. In that episode, I detail the 5 questions to ask yourself that will transform your business, the 5 questions related to niching down. And don't worry, sometimes the reason you might want to pivot is because you are a multi-passionate entrepreneur. people who are multi-passionate often get confused. They think that, well, I'm doing this and it's just really not getting me enough clients. So maybe I'll just do this, or maybe I'll just add this onto it. Well, that's okay. You can be multi-passionate and still niche down so that your brand is built on clarity. If you want more details on that, I've done episodes. I mentioned it in episode 69. I also did, I believe it was episode 82, where I interviewed Sarah Bro, and I did a mini coaching session with her as a multi-passionate entrepreneur. And you may find that very helpful. But there are ways to narrow down your business and your brand so that you have complete clarity. And then once that clarity is established, then you can open things back up a little bit. So don't hesitate to niche down just because you're multi-passionate. It is possible to do it. Defining your niche is imperative for identifying your ideal client avatar so that you can create content that connects directly with them. You want to talk to one person, because if you're talking to everyone, you're essentially talking to no one, because it's just a lot of noise and people are not sure. They can't find clarity in what you're saying. They can't be clear that you're speaking directly to them, and they aren't understanding that you can solve a problem for them. And that's what we really need to have happen. So that's another benefit to niching down, is really being able to hone in on who your ideal client avatar is. The second thing is you have to be consistent. Your content, both written and visual, need to be consistent so that your audience can be clear on what you do and the problem you solve for them. Content should be consistent from your website to your social media platforms to your email marketing. If you're multi-passionate, you can tell them, the different things that you offer, but you want to make sure that you are building one consistent, cohesive brand, that those additional things that you love to do, those additional passions that have turned into your business, you want to make sure that you're communicating with one consistent brand and then adding those things in a way that still provides clarity for your audience to understand the actual problem you can solve for them. Or maybe it's problems that you can solve for them. Maybe it's plural, but you want to make sure you're communicating that effectively and consistently. The third thing is you want to build your community. Your community is your ideal audience, and it's also those you collaborate with. When you create content that is clear and consistent, your ideal audience will find clarity in your messaging and they'll begin to trust you. Trust is the foundation of your brand. People make buying decisions based on trust. That's their motivation, is trust. As you build community, you'll build relationships, which will result in trust. Basically, I just summarized 3 of the 5 C's of personal branding. If you'd like to learn more about the 5 C's of personal branding, you can go back and listen to episode 9, or just click on the show notes and it'll take you over to the blog post for that episode. And you can just quick read that blog post as well to learn a little bit more about those 5 C's. The 5 C's in total are clarity, cohesive, consistent, content, and community. But the one thing I have to reiterate, before you take the initiative to pivot, be sure that you have evaluated your efforts for your current brand. Ask yourself if you are chasing a dream, feel that you are being called to pivot, or are simply frustrated with your current brand's level of success and think that starting over will do the trick. Because if the latter, you will be much better served to revisit your current brand to ensure clarity than to invest resources in starting over completely. Because when starting over, you risk confusing your current audience. If you decide the pivot is the way to go, lay the foundation so that you avoid confusion and hit the ground with complete clarity for your audience, and especially for yourself. Because without clarity for yourself, without you knowing 100% what it is you do and the problem you solve for your ideal audience is going to be confused and you're not going to achieve success. So please lay that groundwork, lay that foundation first, basing every decision you make on clarity as to what it is that you want to do, what's going to fuel you, and the problem you're going to solve effectively for your ideal audience. In summary, pivoting can be beneficial if done for the right reasons, But it is imperative that you lay that groundwork first and evaluate how you will ensure clarity for your brand, your branding efforts, and your brand identity as you move forward. If you are curious about how I can help you find clarity or create a brand with a detailed blueprint for branding strategy, you can book a call with me at therobingraham.com/contact. I guess I need to say this before we close because I don't want to discourage you from pivoting. I just think that it's really important for you to take a deep dive and make sure that you're pivoting for the right reasons. Like I said earlier, if you're not fulfilled in the brand that you currently have and doing the work you're currently doing, then by all means, it's time to pivot. But if you're pivoting because you just don't feel like the success has come your way, really look at why that is. What effort have you put into your brand? And maybe it's just that you need a quick call or a quick coaching session, or you need to just bounce some ideas off of some of your friends or past clients or current clients and say, hey, is it clear as to what I do? Is my messaging getting through to you? Do you understand what I'm saying? And then think about too, where are you putting out that content? Because maybe your efforts are falling flat because you are focusing on a platform that isn't strategically right for you because your ideal audience isn't there. Or maybe it's that your website needs a little tweak. Maybe you need some SEO help. But there are so many things to evaluate before making a decision to completely transition or pivot into something new only because your current brand isn't giving you the success you want it to. Because chances are there are things that you could do to up your game in the current brand versus making that investment in time and money to pivot and start over. I hope this episode was helpful. If there's anything I can do for you to help you, please reach out. I'd love to. And I also want to invite you to hop over to Facebook and join the Brand Marketing Insider private Facebook group. I would love to have you there if you're interested. If you are interested, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. You can click the link in the show notes to join. We'd love to have you there. We do fun stuff. We also, I do live trainings. We talk a lot about personal branding. But if you're looking for additional help or a community to help you find the clarity that you're looking for, it's a great place to start. With that, I'm going to close out this episode, and I wish you all a beautiful day. And that's a wrap, friends. Thank you so much for listening today. I am grateful to have you here with me. If you enjoyed this episode and found the information helpful, will you please take a moment to subscribe and leave a rating and review? That would mean the world to me. It will also help others find the podcast. I really look forward to getting to know my listeners. Will you please connect with me on Instagram? You can find me at The Robin Graham. You can also find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Robin Graham. And I invite you to join my private Facebook group, the Brand Marketing Insider. Please spread the word about the Second Phase podcast. Until next time, remember to smile.